up, y'all? It's your girl, Cece, and I'm here with my co-host, Dr. J, and we are here for another episode of Introverted Vibes and Extroverted Energy. Today, y'all, we are going to talk about something that you've heard us mention a little bit about, but this episode is about us marrying the same person. We married the same person.
Disclaimer, they just have the same personality. Don't want anybody to think we actually are married to the same person.
Y'all know I just be saying stuff that come to my mind. I don't be
Girl, what?
girl, let me see this episode. Let me tune into that. Like, what? They married the same person? How that poly like work with y'all?
I don't have any experience in that. I couldn't even tell you. Could not even tell you how that works.
Y'all. So Dr. J, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm good. So we here to talk about how, so let's talk about their personalities. One, they're both introverts. Okay, so we married the same person because we both married introverts. So this episode is really us talking about the extrovert married an introvert, and
the introvert that's married to an introvert.
Yes. So buckle up because you're going to get some good laughs out of this one. Okay? So
do you want to hear about the boring couple first? You want to hear about the boring couple?
Hear about the introverted couple, right? So tell us a little bit about your history, like, about Mr. Johnson.
Yes. So Mr. Johnson and I have been together, or let me put it like this. I have known him since 2001. We have been together since this last time, since 2004. We dated twice before we actually stuck together. He is an introverted introvert. And you heard me say it in a couple of episodes back that there are different types of introverts. He is that introverted introvert. He likes to be at home. He likes to play his video games. He likes to just secluded is that type of introvert is him. Very different from me because, again, those things that I'm interested in, I'm going to go out and do. He's very soft-spoken. He's an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
He's an introvert. But we have been married for 18 years. And he's just always been that way. Long as he's got the TV and his video games and, he's fine. He's fine. So yeah, that's us in a nutshell.
So how do you guys navigate married life with an introvert and an introvert? Just the one introvert, which is
so I would say in the beginning, for me, it was difficult because even though I'm an introvert, I like to go out to eat. I've not really been a movie goer, but I like to go out on dates. I like to do all those things. And I will say, he knows that I will say this. At first, he was really cool with it. Like he brought the representatives, so he was
trying to get you.
But then once he got comfortable, child, the real introvert came out. So, in the beginning, it was a little difficult for me because, I like to go out and do things. Or even if we have, home gatherings or somebody having something at their house, like those type of things I would be interested in, and he didn't want no parts of that. So I had to learn to accept him for who he was. And then, still do the things that I like to do.
Mm-hmm.
He has never stopped me from doing anything that I wanted to do. I learned to not force him to do those things that I wanted to do that he wasn't interested in. And so we just came to a common ground of, this is who he is, this is who she is. And we've just been making it work since then. So, again, he doesn't stop me. He supports me in all the things. And a lot of people be like, he support you, and he ain't never there. But in the background, the things that you don't see, that you don't need to see on behind doors of a marriage, he supports me in all those things of what I'm doing. He's always been that rock for me, and we've made it work.
Yeah, and y'all, he be making her food, make sure she eat.
Yeah,
he's making sure she eat. Okay.
I be scared sometimes. I be scared sometimes. But yeah, he does cook for me. But I wouldn't say he necessarily cooks for me. So let me tell you this too. So he is an introvert, and he is one of those, like, he's different on outside than he is at home. So at home he still jokes around, he still plays, and when it comes to the food, he be like, I'm cooking because my kids got to eat. If you eat, then you eat. But I know he cooking for me too.
Mm-hmm. It'd be one of those things, yeah. He's actually really funny. He'd be like, oh, hell no.
He is. He's one of those too. He has to warm up to you. But he's very sociable. Like, he's not gonna be like scared to talk to you. Like, if somebody says something to him, like, he'll talk back. He'll carry on the conversation, but he's real reserved. And his family is like that, so I really know where he gets it from. They're all very quiet people. Except when it comes, like, when it's football, they loud, but but any other area, they're cool, they're calm, collected people.
Yeah. How do conversations work? Like, y'all both sitting there thinking about everything. When, because I know y'all introverts be thinking. So when you're actually in conversation, what does that look like? Is everybody just sitting here like saying, you say something and then he think about it, and then he'll say something, do you think about it? Like, and then like, where's the dead air space? That's what I envision. It's dead air space.
No, because we real people on the back. So he's very open and honest, and sometimes blunt in the things that he say too. So the conversation that this is going to sound crazy when I say this, but the real outspoken conversations that an extrovert would have, introverts normally have with the people that they're comfortable with. And with him and I, we had that dynamic. Like, there ain't nothing we ain't say to each other. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but like, we real open and honest. Like, we joke, we cuss each other out, we make jokes, we pick, like, we throw digs, like, we do that in a jokingly way, but it's because we're comfortable with each other. So I say those dynamics that an extrovert has. Not saying that we're extroverts, but you know how y'all extroverts just be all out there.
No, I'm saying, y'all said, look, y'all, did y'all hear what Dr. J just said? She said, yeah, us introverts, we do what introvert, we only do what other introverts. Like, it's giving Chris Brown, you can't hate from outside the club because you can't even get in. I felt that. Like, I felt like I can't get in the club because I'm an extrovert. I ain't in the club, so you gonna get this right here.
No, because with marriage, it's different.
Yeah, it is.
It's different. And those things that we wouldn't normally say to other people, we go say to each other. We are. And it's not saying that we playing introverts. It's just we have those extroverted tendencies where sometimes whatever comes up comes out. And I'm sure he can say hallelujah, raise his hands, and say, yes, Dr. Johnson is that, because, yeah, there's some sides of me that he only can see.
I feel that.
Let's get off of me.
Oh,
Let's talk about this.
The newlywed.
Introverted relationship.
Oh, boy.
Because I got some things I want to say about this, too, but I'm going to let you tell your story.
So, y'all, I have been with my wife. Well, let me go back. So we've known each other since 2012, and we have been together since 2020, October 2020, and then we got married in 2022. So we actually got married on April Fool's Day, y'all. April Fool's Day. And we did play a joke on our guests. We told our guests that our wedding started at 5 because we were doing a joke, but it really started at 6. That was our joke. But it
wasn't funny either.
Everybody was fighting traffic.
Yes, as people were getting off on a Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock.
It was. But y'all all made it on time. I don't think. nobody was really late.
By the hairs of our chinny chin chin.
But we have this relationship where I'm extremely extroverted and she is literally an introvert. She is staying home with her headphones on and that's about it. You're not going to get much conversation. Again, until she feels comfortable with you, right? Mm-hmm. So we're talking about when you first meet her. She ain't gonna say nothing. She gonna be in the background. She may leave because she don't want to be there. She is very, very, very quiet. Sometimes you may not even know I'm married. You don't even know I'm married unless I post her. Yeah, she's just one of those people. She's really to herself. And so me being an extrovert, I drag her to a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And so I think I'm getting a little bit better, just a little bit. I only make her go to the important things now. Not all the things. I used to drag her to all the things, and she absolutely hated it. And with the help of Dr. J, and she really helped for me to not make sure she does everything, but I do still invite her to the important things. The problem is there's a lot of important things. And so it's still that. Yeah. But that's my honey. She just don't be visible. That's it. So we are the couple where I do a lot of talking and she not gonna really say much. But now that but she'll say a lot to me. Mm-hmm. She'll say a lot to me. She talk a lot to Dr. J and Mr. Johnson because she's comfortable with them. Like, it's like family. So she gonna say what she need to say. She'll be really, really out in the conversation, everything. You'll hear her talk a lot with them. She hangs out with Dr. J's husband just because they the same. They're the same. So, that's kind of how that is. But it is very difficult being with someone who's not as extroverted as me. Because I like Dr. J. I like to go do things, be a part of the crowds, but I'm very out there and I like to network and stuff. And so that when people are like, oh, where's your wife? Oh, she here, she in the corner over there, or she outside. She be outside either asleep with her headphones on and she ain't coming back in. So yeah, that's her.
We still working on her just dragging Diz on some things with her. But I understand what it is because even being an introvert, I understand what it's like. You in all of these things, you're getting awards, you're being present, and you want your significant other there right beside you. Yeah, I struggle with that. And then again, I would let Mr. Johnson know, hey, this is going on. If you want to go, let me know. And if he feels compelled to go, then he goes. If he doesn't, then it's fine with me. We just come to that common ground. And not me feeling like I have to drag him. So it's going to be a learning thing to stop dragging Des to things she don't want to go to.
I need her to see me shine. I'm still there. But I will say, watching your guys' relationship, knowing that our spouses do have really close personalities, it's insane, y'all, how close their personalities are. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Both military veterans.
Yes.
So, it's very interesting. But seeing you guys, how you're like, well, he's not coming to this, but, my girl's here, yep. I'm like, okay. I'm starting to be a little more open to that and not like, oh, my spouse doesn't support me, because she do support me, y'all. She do. So I can't even say that she don't support me if she don't come to something, because she does. So I'm seeing that, and it's helping me to be like, well, she'll say something when I get home, or before, when I actually tell her about it, she'll say something. But then my expectation is, well, you gotta be there too. Who am I gonna take red carpet photos with? But that's the extroverted part of me, is taking pictures. She hates taking pictures. And so, I think about that too. But I'm just not there yet. Like, I'm still in the mindset of my introverted wife. Yeah, I'm not going to make you do a whole bunch while you're there, but just your presence being there. But we still need to take these pictures, but knowing she hates pictures, it still don't be registered in my mind. She hates pictures.
Right.
So,
well, let me ask you this, because this is something that I come to realize too, even being an introvert. Like, Mr. Johnson ain't coming to nothing either. And please don't ask him to take a picture if he is present. But I was in various spaces where people would be like, oh, well, where's your husband? And then when they do see him, oh, he do exist type thing. So do you feel like Des being present, is that for you, or is that for people to know that you have a wife?
It's for me only because my love language is words of affirmation and acts of service. And so the words of affirmation is her actually saying something about it. Or like when I physically get the award, I want you to be the first person to say to me, like, I'm so proud of you, babe, or something like that, just to fulfill that words of affirmation. And then the acts of service is you physically coming. So that's where that comes from. Honestly, I'm the only person who really posts her. She ain't gonna post me because she don't be on social media like that, but I post her. So, and I don't mind like telling people, but I don't really get that a lot as far as, oh, your spouse does exist. Because I drag her places.
Right.
And so, that's where that's visible.
Yeah. Because I had to come to that realization too, because I'm like, do I really care whether Mr. Johnson comes or not? Because we've already talked about, he already knows what's going on. I know he's proud of me. Or am I doing this for somebody else? And so I think when I came to that realization, then I got off of his neck, because I realized that I was trying to appease other people, or I'm trying to make sure people know I got a husband. Like, I don't have to do that. I know he supports me, so if he doesn't want to go, then he doesn't want to go. Then if they feel some type of way, or they're questioning it, like, that's your questioning. Like, I know who my husband is. I know who he is for me. I don't have to show y'all that. So that's why I just asked.
Yeah. I think also because I'm still a newlywed.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, you need to be here like that. But those are my top two love languages. And then next comes quality time. But I know for her, we've had this conversation too. I'll say, well, it's quality time, but to her, it's not. That's not quality time. And so that kind of also was like, okay, well, what's your definition of quality time for us to have that? Her definition of quality time is different, though. Hers is, we in the same space.
Right?
Yeah, I could be you on the phone, probably talking to you, and I'm on my laptop or with my headphones on. We just don't lay it on the same couch. Like, that's quality time to her.
Yeah. Same with Mr. Johnson. Because if I'm on the phone, or if I'm on a Zoom call, that irks the piss out of him. But even if I'm sitting in the space, he's fine. We don't have to say a word to each other. But as long as I'm there, we watching TV, he's fine. But let that phone ring. Let that phone ring. Or let me say, I got a meeting. He has gotten so bad now that he will even ask me, like, when we wake up, you got any meetings today? So just me being in the space, we don't have to do nothing or anything. That means something to him. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what, because we don't be talking about nothing. We be watching Zatima and Sisters on TV. I mean, but that's it. That's all he wants.
And that's same person. Ain't got to say not one word as long as we laying on the couch at the same time.
Yeah. But one other thing about Mr. Johnson, he's gonna kill me when I say that. He doesn't, I mean, he likes it, but he prefers not to be celebrated. And that was one thing when we first started dating. My family has always been close-knit. Like, a birthday come, we having a dinner, cake, everybody's coming. I remember his first birthday, he was like, no, don't do that. Don't do that for me. And that was a shocker to me, because I'm like, it's your birthday. Like, what you talking about? But now, even, he gonna kill me. Even knowing that side of him is kind of rubbed off on me. Like, I don't mind going somewhere for my birthday, but I don't need a cake. Give me some balloons. We don't have to do it. If it's me and him going to dinner, that's fine. But it doesn't have to be a big to-do for me anymore. And so it's funny, like some of the traits or things that I've learned from him are now being put into my little self. But I understand why. I mean, he just doesn't like all of that pomp and circumstance. But now I'm beginning to be kind of that person too.
It's the same. Des is the same way. She don't want to be celebrated. She don't want to celebrate her birthday. Don't want to do nothing. Just me. Shoot, March 21st, we turn it up. Like, that's a holiday. But for her, she is like, nope. I remember one time I did something for her birthday. It was at a club, bought a section, all those things. She was livid.
Yeah.
She was livid. She was like, no, absolutely not. So, like, never again will I do that. I'm learning as we're growing in marriage and having good, positive examples in our life. I'm seeing it. I have more introverts around me now. But like, you're like my best friend. So I'm now in the world of introverts. And so now I'm seeing like what she needs from me. And it's starting to help a lot, but I ain't all the way there.
It's a learning thing. It's a learning thing. Yeah. Cause Mr. Johnson, all he wants, one thing you better have on his birthday. Now, he don't want all the pomp and circumstance, but you better have a cake. Better have some candles. The number candles. And I'm like, sir, why? We're in our 40s now. Like, why do you want to, like, but those are the things. If you don't do nothing else, better be a cake and some candles. And don't try to use some candles that you didn't have from last year. They got to be brand new, he says, because if you reuse those candles, it depletes the wish that you had last year
I love it.
I'm like, what?
It makes sense, though. It makes sense. Like, you already made a wish on those candles, so I need new candles to make my new wish, right? Y'all, don't that make sense? That makes sense.
I feel candles burn the same. You only burn them one time.
But last year was black candles. This year you need gold candles, and then the next year you need red candles. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Down that far. We use the same the candles you get from Safeway. They got the little polka dots on it. Just the same ones.
No, not those polka dotted candles.
Yeah, that's Mr. Johnson.
But you know how we get away with it? Like, I've kind of learned this balance with it recently, was how to satisfy my introvert wife who loves to travel, though, out of the country. Like, she don't like to go to events, but she loves to travel. So my birthday is March 21st. We got married on April 1st, and her birthday is in April too. And so what we do now is we take a trip. We don't do nothing else. Like, we save everything up. Now, I'm going to still do something on my birthday, but with my girls. And we just go on a trip. And that's perfect. Like, that's in her element. She ain't got to be out and about, like, things like that. So it works. So we started doing that, and that's worked really well. The last 2 years, that's worked really well.
That's cool. Because Mr. Johnson, he doesn't like to travel. So I don't bother him about that either. I mean, if a trip come up, I'll put it out the way. But I got my girls that I go to wherever. It don't even have to be my birthday. You want to go somewhere? Let's go. Because I like to travel too. So that's kind of been my thing for my birthday. Like, I'll do something that day with him, whether it's a dinner or whatever. And then, I'll find my other celebration piece with my girls. So that's kind of the dynamic that's been for us. So all things are checked and everybody's satisfied.
Yeah, it's working. It's a learning experience. Because, when I think back at previous relationships, I've been with people who are very, a lot of them have been extroverts. So it made it easy. But now I'm challenged with spending my life with someone who's not. and I need to learn how to adapt, which I really don't. Yeah, I'm the baby of my family, the only girl. I'm very spoiled. I'm very stubborn, and I know these things about myself. And it's transitioning into my married life, and so I'm learning how to adapt and not be that way and cater more to someone who is introverted.
So you just made a great point. So Des is the oldest too, right?
Yeah, she's the oldest.
So I'm the oldest, but Mike is the baby.
Interesting.
So that puts a whole different spin on it. That puts a whole different spin on it for me too, because not only is he the baby, his siblings are much. I shouldn't say much. That's going to be harsh. I hope they don't kill me because I said that they're older than him. I think between him and the next sibling is like 8 years. So when Mike was growing up, they were already gone. So he's kind of been like the only child. So he got some only child syndrome. I don't like you.
Yeah. My brothers are a lot older too.
Yeah. So
Nick.
that was something different too, because I'm like, this dude gonna make me kill him because I got siblings. I was like, yeah, like, and I'm the oldest. I grew up being more independent. So that was a change in our relation or aspect in our relationship where I had to kind of give him some grace too. Because when I met him, I was already out on my own. I had a kid, I was doing things for me. So that was different too.
Man, that's crazy. Now we have, y'all already know when we end, we have to give our little wisdom or piece of advice to send y'all home with. So from an introvert to introvert marriage, what is, you want to do two?
We can do
two pieces of advice you would give another introvert who is married to an introvert.
So I would say, it depends on what type of introvert you are. Have that conversation with one another. Figure out where you can compromise in some of the things. We know how we are. We're very reserved, not necessarily secluded, but our battery runs down quick. If it's going to be some events that are going to be overtaxing for some, have that conversation and pick and choose those events that you really want that person to be at. And if they're not wanting to come, then, you figure out, how you celebrate with them outside of that. That is one thing. You got to have that conversation piece and have that understanding with one another. The other piece to that is, even with that conversation, do not make people feel guilty about how they feel and, what they like, what their boundaries are when it comes to their personalities. Do not make them feel guilty because they feel that way. Learn to accept that and help them embrace who they are. And, you guys come to that compromise.
That's really good piece of advice. Writing down so that way I can take that home to my introverted marriage, my extroverted introverted marriage.
No, I have to say that because I know a lot of marriages, like, people make their spouses feel guilty.
Yeah.
And you don't do that. Don't do that. That's who they are, and who they are. So don't make them feel guilty, and accept that, and then you figure out how you move on. Have that conversation, figure out what that compromise is with one another.
I did that at first. I made her feel really guilty about not attending a lot of the award things because, when I met her, we started dating in a time where my businesses were starting to get bigger and I was starting to get recognized for a lot of the things I was doing. And I wanted her to be there for those moments. And so when she wasn't, I felt like she did it in the beginning to get me. I feel like she did it to get me. And she got me. And then, like you said, that whole, the representative was there. And then she got comfortable and married my tail. And now she's in her introverted world. And now I figure it out. So that is something that I definitely agree with because I did it as an extrovert and wanting to be in the spaces. So my piece of advice to those who are extroverts married to introverts is it's okay for you to be who you are, but you still need to know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to learn their meter. How fast does their battery drain?
Right.
And you'll know, do you need to just invite them to this event that you know is only going to be 2 hours, right? If you want them to go somewhere with you, maybe they can only handle the 2-hour event instead of the 4, you know? So I started to do that. So that's a really good piece of advice when you're married to an introvert is learn how fast your battery drain. And then my second piece of advice is to have conversations when you're at home about what your needs are as an extrovert and figure out what their needs are as an introvert. And you guys compromise on that and continue to just have those conversations. Like Dr. J said, celebrating outside of maybe a larger scale event and do something small together and accept that. So that would be my advice from that aspect.
Yeah.
So now it's time to go.
It is.
Y'all, this was a great conversation. Our spouses don't kill us.
Yes.
We love y'all. Love you long time. Bye, y'all.
Bye.